Hi everyone, Jesse here with etrailer. Today we'll be taking a look at and I'll show you how to install the Curt custom fit trailer wiring on our 2024 Subaru WRX. Adding trailer wiring is going to be absolutely essential if you plan on doing any kind of towing with your Subaru. I'm also seeing a lot of accessories with lights, and you'll also need a 4-pole wiring to get those working. The way it works is it simply ties into your factory tail lights, and then your vehicle will send a signal to your trailer or your accessory to get those lights working correctly. That means your turn signals, your tail lights, and your brake lights. As we have ours set up, it's just kind of hanging loose, so whenever you're not towing or having your accessory on, you could simply wrap it around here with the included dust cap and hold it there. If you wanted to, you could permanently mount it to the hitch, but the hitch on the WRX really sits far back, so I don't know if that is really your best option. I think it's better off just having it hanging like we do ours. That's about all there is to it. It's not something that's super flashy. It's just absolutely essential, as I said, if you plan on doing any kind of towing. And as for the installation, it's a pretty simple process. You just have to remove your tail lights, and the wiring will tie into your factory tail lights by simply plugging in. And then you will have to run a wire to the front of the vehicle. So if that's not something that you're looking to do yourself, maybe you just don't have the time, the space, or the tools to do so, feel free to check out our dealer locator. If you have installed this yourself and you just want to share some tips or tricks with us, or if you want to share some photos of what you're using your wiring for, please feel free to leave a review or a comment. But otherwise, if you're looking to see how this gets installed, follow along and I'll walk you through it. We'll begin our install by removing both of our tail lights. So first we'll need to take a Phillips screwdriver to remove this push fastener here. Just carefully give it a quarter turn, then you should be able to pull it out. Then we'll need to take this plastic cover off. These are kind of tricky. You'll have to get your fingers behind it. It helps to have a plastic trim tool like this. Start going down. Get your trim panel tool behind the back of it here, then work it through. We're trying to pull it towards the inside of the vehicle. And then pop it off, set it aside. That'll reveal two 10mm bolts holding it in. Then we'll unclip our tail light. Just firmly pull it straight out. Turn it around, and in the back there's a plug here. Just push in on that tab and pull it out. And set that tail light aside. With both of our tail lights removed, we'll need to run something to fish our wires up, and I chose this pocket here that seems to be our largest pocket because we will have to pull those plugs up through here. I'm using an airline tubing. You could also use something like a clothes hanger or just anything that you have that will be able to pull your wires through. So we'll start with our left side. This will control our left turn and our tail lights. Then coming down to the rest of our wiring, this black module will control everything. It prevents back feeds. We'll have to find somewhere underneath the vehicle to get this safely mounted. Our white wires are ground, so we'll just use this ring terminal, attach it to either a factory ground or somewhere on the body. And then our 4-pole, of course, is for plugging into our trailers. Then this green wire we'll have to route over to our right side tail light and then fish it up with the same technique that we're doing over here. So as I said, we're starting with the left side. I have my airline ran through. I'll take some electrical tape, wrap it around these. I'm going to separate the plugs just because that'll be our best shot at getting these to feed up through that pocket. So I'll tape these up real good and then pull our fish wire through. Once we have this pulled up, I'll just undo our tape, and then before I plug into our taillights, I'm going to double check, make sure we're not snagged on anything underneath the vehicle. With our T-connector, we'll plug in our female end into that factory wiring. Tuck those wires out of our way. We'll take our taillight and plug the other end into our taillight wiring. And we'll get this taillight reinstalled. Before we get our black module secured, I'm going to attach our black wire to the black wire coming off the module. This is going to be for our 12-volt power, so we'll have to run it to the front of the vehicle. Your kit will include some of these yellow butt connectors, but anytime we're working outside the vehicle, I don't like to use these just because corrosion and water and dirt can get in there. So instead, we're going to be using these heat shrink butt connectors just to get a nice secure connection. And as for our connection, we'll just simply strip back this black wire and then crimp on our butt connector, then crimp it onto our wire. As for our black box, the kit comes with some double-sided tape. Stick to one side, and I'm going to stick it up here and zip tie through this hole to hold it secure. Pull your backing off and just tuck it up in here. And we'll press and hold it to make it stick. For our ground, I'll just use the included self-tapper and drive it through the ring terminal. I'm also trying to stay away from the exhaust as much as possible, so I'm just going to tuck it up in this corner here and drive it in with our 1/4-inch bit driver. With our right side taillight wiring, I fished it around all of the tabs that hold our fascia on here, and it came out right here. And then we'll use that same fish wire technique that we did on the other side, go up to the taillight pocket and plug it in. Now I've ran our power wire to the front of the vehicle. It is kind of tricky back here, just trying to avoid your exhaust and suspension, but I started out by tucking it up above this exhaust heat shield here, which we actually had to chop up for our hitch, so it was pretty easy to bend it down, tuck our wire up. It comes out here. I just went around the subframe here and then up above the subframe. We're trying to stay away from all of our suspension components. And once it came out from in front of our subframe, I tucked it up on top of our skid plates. There's just a few push pin fasteners that you'll need to take down to be able to tuck it up inside there. But it just follows this skid plate and comes out right here. Pulled our power wire up into the engine bay. One thing to look out for is the steering shaft is kind of right where I routed it. So what I'll do is zip tie it to one of those hoses just to keep that from interfering with each other. And then from there, what we'll do is cut off some slack. We'll have to crimp on our fuse holder, which the kit comes with the fuse holder. And then I use the heat shrink butt connector again, and then crimped on a ring terminal. I use a 12mm bolt or 12mm socket to remove this nut. Then I'll attach that ring terminal to that. Now we have our 4-pole tester plugged in. We do have these available here at eTrailer, or you could just use a test light or hook up to your trailer. But anyway, you can test it. It's good. So I'll turn our headlights on. This should be our taillight signal to our 4-pole tester. This is left turn, right turn, and brakes. Now that we know that everything's working right, that's going to do it for our look at and installation of the Curt custom fit trailer wiring on our 2024 Subaru WRX.